All right. People who really want to have a good time won't come to a slaughterhouse. And we've got entirely too many troublemakers here. Too many 40-year-old adolescents, felons, power drinkers, and trustees of modern chemistry. It's going to change. Be nice.
That ain't working.
I want you to be nice.
That ain't working.
And you'll both be nice.
So much as my wife was a giant. But
I want you to be nice until it's time to not be nice.
No, I'm pretty sure that's the way you do it.
The Rees Company.
Crack open a tepid Genesee, watch the pictures as they travel through your neighbor's Wi-Fi. It's the Rees Company. I'm Steve Rees, the bull of American broadcasting, alongside the great Chris Morganti. How are you, Chris?
I'm good.
We celebrated a milestone tonight. We did it on the last show, and we get to do it again this week.
Yeah, I did not expect those things to be in back-to-back shows, but we got a little bit of a bump.
I'd say, yeah.
In viewership for the last show, and we went directly from 40 subscribers to 50.
And who could have ever expected that to occur?
Not me.
Not me either.
And in fact, I had planned to bring champagne to celebrate 50 subscribers and totally forgot. So,
well,
next week maybe.
Okay, and maybe I'll do a toast then because I'd like to dedicate that to certain folks who I feel are responsible.
All right.
Or shall I just pay tribute now?
Totally up to you.
Okay, well, the people I want to thank most for this achievement, 50 subscribers, to our friends and our peers, because they've had to sit back and watch us struggle, wanting to reach this goal of 50 subscribers. And, of course, there was nothing they could possibly do to help us in this pursuit. But they did what they could. They crossed their fingers. They sent thoughts. They sent prayers. They didn't step on any cracks. And we did it. Thank you, folks, for sitting back and doing what made this happen. We owe it all to you.
That's a little bit passive-aggressive for us celebrating a milestone, but
I'm just celebrating. Choice. I'm celebrating our milestone.
All right.
And giving credit where it's due.
Well, before we get into our movie of the week, which is Lucky Girl.
Yeah.
I had a few things I wanted to bring up. Number one, Steve, I'm single again. So to any ladies who might be watching who live in the Philadelphia area and are under 200 pounds, feel free to contact me at chrismorganti@yahoo.com.
We have very different personal
That is
ads.
my real email address. And if you're over 200 pounds, please feel free to contact me at stephenrees@gmail.com.
Sorry for stepping on that.
It's
Do you
fine.
can we do it? Do you want to do it again?
I don't think we need to do that.
Okay.
Another thing I wanted to bring up, Steve, is earlier today, I was watching a documentary on the planets. Now, how do you pronounce the seventh planet from the sun?
Well, hold on. Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus.
Uranus, right?
Yes.
That's how we were taught. That's how I heard it for many years. But apparently, the scientific community was tired of all the people making jokes about your anus. So they've changed the name to Uranus. Now, why change it from something that contains the word anus to something that contains the word urine? How is that making it any better? This has led me to believe that the scientific community is just messing with us. So I thought, why shouldn't I get in on the fun? And because let's face it, why not pronounce it Uranus, right? There was a way to pronounce this that wouldn't include a dirty word or whatever. But as long as we're doing that, I'm going to suggest, why not just change the whole name? I had one recommendation here. We will see in this graphic here, Planet Cock and Balls. I think that would be a good name for it. Here's another one, Queef City. So, maybe we could change the name. Hopefully we can get some support behind this.
Yeah, let's get a campaign going. We have these 50 subscribers.
Yeah.
Who will go to bat for us, hopefully.
Sure.
And make these changes occur.
Another thing that happened to me a week ago, I was in Wildwood, which is the Jersey Shore, for those of you that don't know. And Steve, I went to a water park one day because I had my 12-year-old daughter with me, and I went on some of the water slides with her later in the day. At the beginning of the day, I didn't want to be in the sun all day. I've had skin cancer. I don't need that. So I went to the bar that they have there, adjacent to the water park, and I saw a guy. Now, when I first saw this guy, he was ordering some sort of chocolate cocktail, and it was not his first round of that beverage. And,
Like a Brandy Alexander, perhaps?
no, it was brandy is, I think, just milk and brandy. This had chocolate in it, like Hershey's syrup, And somebody asked him what it was. He's like, I don't know, man. Tastes good though. I don't know. Oh boy. And he seemed pretty intoxicated. And this was about right before noon. Then later, as I left the bar area to check on my daughter, make sure everything was okay. I see him walking by. Apparently, he was there with a lady and a young girl. And he was complaining to the lady that she was, what was the phrase he used? She was negating him, or, something to that effect. He didn't like how he was being treated by her.
Contradicting, perhaps?
No, I forget the term, but anyway, he was loudly making the point that he didn't like how he's being treated, and it just didn't look good at all. I go back to the bar. The next thing I know, I see the manager walk up to the bartenders and say, "This guy's cut off," and he shows a picture on his phone. And I knew it had to be this guy. Now, Steve, I'll give you two guesses as to what sports logo this guy had tattooed on his arm.
Is it a football team?
It is a football team, yes.
Is it one regional to this venue?
Yes, it's very close.
Okay, the Philadelphia
He had a
football
Philadelphia
Eagles.
Eagles logo tattooed on his, yeah. So that was...
So you think there's a correlation between having that tattoo and that sort of behavior?
Eagles fans are not known to be particularly well-behaved, so I'll let everyone make their own conclusions on that. I'm an Eagles fan myself, so I'm not criticizing anyone.
But you don't have the tattoo. I think it's the combination of the two things.
Yeah, I would say so. No, another thing that happened when I was down there, Steve, was I accidentally stole a bicycle. And I know you're saying to yourself, how could something like that happen? Well, it's a popular thing to do down there is to rent bicycles because they're allowed on the boardwalk in the morning before noon. And it's a long boardwalk. It's like, I don't know, 5-6 miles. So me and my daughter, we bicycle up to the very north end of the boardwalk. And there's like a little crescendo there. Not a crescendo. Gazebo type of thing. With seats.
But some people call that a crescendo.
There's some similar word that I'm blanking on.
Okay.
I'm blanking on words tonight. Sorry. And I got here sober too, so I don't know. But
if the word you're looking for is hat, you may be having a seizure.
Anyway, you could see dolphins when we got to this thing.
Oh, nice.
So we sat down. We got off our bikes and sat down for 5 minutes to look at the dolphins. Then we get back on our bikes, continue to ride around until our rental time is up, and return the bikes. Now, this is also time for me to check out of my hotel. So I check out, and the place where we rented the bikes was right across the street, and also they had a parking lot you could park in. So I can't park in the hotel anymore. I just checked out. So I park in this lot. Well, when I do that, the guy who rented me the bike walks up, and he says, "Hey, man, that bike you brought back, that's not the bike you left with." And at first I'm like, sure it is. And then I look at it and I notice a couple key differences, like the kickstand being in a different place and a very subtle difference to the handlebar. Otherwise, it was pretty similar. And my first thing is this guy messing with me? But then I realized, no, it actually is a different bike. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, what do I do? And he said, at first I thought he was telling me that the bike I brought back was worth more than the bike that he rented me. And And then I'm like, well, if that's the case, then the person, maybe they figured out that this bike is left here and it has your number on it, then they would call and want their own bike back if it's worth more. So I'm not too concerned at this point. I'm hoping this works out. I go about my day. I come back at the end of the day, and the guy says, "Oh, that was the owner's bike, by the way. It was his personal bike that they also rented out. So the owner wants to talk to you." So he comes down, and I'm like, "Dude, I am so sorry. Like, obviously, I didn't make any gain here,
Right.
So I'm like, I'm so sorry. I don't know what to do." And he says, "It's okay, man. Just tell me where you returned the bike to, and I'll go get it." And I'm like, oh, man. And I realized the guy working the thing was pretty dumb. So he totally misunderstood what happened, or just couldn't communicate to the owner what happened. The owner called the cops and was like, "Hey, we got this bike. We got to return it." And I'm like, oh, man. Like, I wish you just hold on to it, And he's telling me that the bike that I lost was worth more. So now I'm thinking either I picked up the wrong bike or somebody just flat out stole it and left their own bike there because they upgraded it, right? And I don't know what to do. And the guy's just like, well, all right, these things happen. And that was it. So I was expecting, well, that bike cost $500. We're going to need a check from you. That didn't happen. And then I'm talking to my daughter, like, the right thing for me to do here is to leave my name and number so that I can, assist in filing a police report or whatever. But I'm getting out of Dodge. Like, I don't need this coming back to me 3 months later. This guy decides he needs some money. Now he's suing me for $2,000 or something.
Right. You did just give out your email address.
That's true. I'm assuming he's not a viewer. And they could have taken my license plate if they really wanted to track me down. But hopefully nothing happens. I feel bad, but I didn't do anything on purpose.
Honest mistake, yeah.
Yeah, and the bikes were so similar that I didn't even notice. So I don't think there's much loss there. I don't know, man. But yeah, I mean, I guess it was a crime. I don't know.
I don't think it was a crime. Was it? Maybe negligence.
Yeah, definitely negligence.
But not criminal negligence.
Right, I suppose.
Yeah.
But definitely not the example you want to set in front of your 12-year-old daughter.
Right. But you did explain to her that the right thing to do would be to leave.
Yeah, but then I didn't do it. So it's kind of
did she know you didn't do it? Does she know that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
No, I was explaining to her, like, I'm not going to do that because of this. So, She agreed with me, though. She's practical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else you'd like to talk about before
No,
we get
that's
to
it. I don't know if that bike story was worth telling, but I don't know. How many times in your life do you accidentally steal something?
Zero. So that's definitely a unique experience.
Yeah.
So let's do it. Movie of the week. Let's go.
Are we back? I remembered what the drunk guy at the water park said now.
Oh, yeah.
You're downgrading me.
Oh.
That's what he was saying to his lady friend who was there with her daughter.
Well, I know
Maybe
why.
their daughter. I don't know.
I know why you didn't remember that at first, because that's a misuse of that term.
Yeah, but you could say it would be a slang term for, not feeling valued in a relationship or something like that.
It's nothing that I don't think reasonable people say.
No, that's the first time I've ever heard it, although it made me think he probably didn't think of it on his own. So it's probably a slang term that some people use.
I'm sure it's in a rap song or something.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, maybe that.
Yeah. So here we go. Our movie of the week, Lucky Girl. This debuted on CTV in Canada. This is our first foreign made-for-TV movie.
We watched some Australian stuff before.
We watched an Australian, not Australian, a New Zealand TV program.
New Zealand, yes.
Yeah. But this is our first movie of the week produced for a network outside of our home country.
Yes, and I noticed that they made use of American football rather than your beloved Canadian football.
Yes.
Were they aiming for an American market with this and didn't get it? Is that what happened?
Well, I'm not sure of that because the money that we see a lot of money in this film, is clearly Canadian.
No, I actually had noticed that too. It was actually a mix, and I don't know if that's common in Canada to use a mix of Canadian and American money.
I guess close to the border. I was in a mall in just over the border,
Right.
and there were 2 registers, one for American money and one for Canadian money. So I guess people who live close enough to the border do carry both. I don't know for sure.
Yeah, that's what we saw in the movie, and I know when I went to Niagara Falls, it was also that. But you figure that's like a big tourist thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I didn't know that was typical.
Well, again, it's called Lucky Girl, and it debuted on CTV on April 8th, 2001. It later aired in the U.S., so I guess maybe there were shots, because I did see something in the comments about how it was edited for American television. So maybe there was no Canadian money in the American version. And also there are some content things that I don't think would have aired on American television.
Oh, you mean like when they referred to betting on the Redskins? Oh, I'm sorry. The what is it? The Guardians? I'm sorry.
So it aired on Lifetime in America.
Jim, you can bleep that, right? You can
fine.
bleep that, right?
I don't think that's an issue.
Oh, okay.
I don't think that's
All
an
right.
issue. It aired in America on Lifetime under the alternate title, My Daughter's Secret Life. And we'll see why neither title really applies.
Right.
Lucky Girl or My Daughter's Secret Life.
Right.
It stars a gal called Elisha Cuthbert. Are you familiar with her work?
I didn't. You sent me the movie, and I was like, I don't know who that is. But then I realized that I did watch the first half of the first season of 24.
Yeah.
And I believe she played Kiefer Sutherland's daughter in that.
She did, and
Yeah.
she landed that role this same year, and we're going to see her.
Yeah, it was
star
the
in
same
this
year.
film.
Yeah.
Yeah. She plays a teen math whiz who was saving money for a trip to Europe with her best friend.
Yeah.
Now, most Canadian kids her age might save for that sort of thing by taking a weekend job at a Tim Hortons.
Okay.
No, that's not what she does as a Chris.
No, she goes a different route.
Yeah. Now, when we first see her, she's scratching off a lottery ticket in class, and she wins 10 Canadian dollars.
Well, that's not going to get you to Paris.
Maybe it does. I don't even know. Do you know?
It definitely does not. No.
So-
That's worth less than 10 American dollars.
So that night, she hosts a birthday party for her friend, the one she has European travel plans with.
Yeah.
And the 2 girls lure their friends into a game of poker.
Yes, they're wealthier friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who have $100 allowances.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Elisha walks away with $85 in winnings.
Nice.
So the next day, Elisha notices some action going on in the high school halls.
So Brains heard you fleece Marina poker last night.
Fleece actually means cheated. I just keeped your ass.
Maybe you want in on the football pool then.
See, the tiny little boxes are the games and the itty bitty numbers.
Tim, if you figured it out, I'll be fine.
Now, can we stop it? Who is that dude who he insulted her and she insulted him? He looks very familiar. Is he in anything?
I don't know. I got a Degrassi vibe from him, but I don't think so.
Well, I never watched that, so it wouldn't be. I think he just looks like someone else, But I can't even identify who. So
I don't recognize him.
Yeah. All right. Sorry to interrupt.
No, it's fine. Just continue. We get to see this again. There's her friend. They're going to Europe together.
Well, they plan to go to Europe.
So Brains heard you fleece Marina poker last night.
Fleece actually means cheated. I just keeped your ass.
Maybe you want in on the football pool then.
See, the tiny little boxes are the games and the itty bitty numbers.
Tim, if you figured it out, I'll be fine. Are these your odds or the Street Vegas line?
Mix. Is that okay with you?
He did the shifty
Fine.
eye there.
Give me Steelers over Washington at 6. What else? And Denver over Cincinnati 4.5. I'll take the dog. Put me down for 60.
Any more? Got lots of action open.
Not today.
Bye, Cheryl.
Oh my God, that was awesome. Caitlin, since when do you know anything about football? Are you kidding? Osmosis. Between my dad and Terry, I could referee a Rose Bowl.
Yeah, so Alicia's father runs a hedge fund.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know if that was really the case or if they were using that as a metaphor. He seems to spend all his time engaged in professional gambling.
Yeah, but I see no evidence of him actually placing wagers.
Yeah, it wasn't really clear what the hell was going on there.
Well, Terry, she just mentioned Terry. Terry is her younger brother.
Yeah.
And he's kind of their father's gambling protege.
Sure. Yeah, why not teach your son how to sports gamble at the age of 8?
Yeah, he quizzes him on the spread and odds and stuff like
Sure.
that. And Terry doesn't say much in this film, but he does have, in my opinion, the best line in the entire movie.
All right.
So we'll get to that in a bit, so stick around. So meanwhile, Elisha, she's called over by one of her high school mates who appears to be played by Jerry Hall. I don't really know what's going on over here. Let's
Is that
let's
Mick
see
Jagger's
this.
girlfriend?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there's a reference for the kids.
Great. Oh my God. Is that her brother driving?
So?
Hot.
You guys have met my brother Ron, right?
Really? I mean, come on. Dead ringer.
I remember you.
What?
Well, last time I saw you,
What's
you were
going
around
on?
11, right?
Jerry
Yeah.
Hall?
Yes.
Oh. Yeah, I don't think I ever knew what she looked like.
Oh, well, she looks like that teenage girl.
Really?
Yes.
Playing kick the can with Janice. It's been a while.
See you at the card shop, right?
Well, hardly.
So you want to ride someplace?
I'm with a friend.
Hi, friend. You both can come, you know.
Okay, that's Ron. Keep him in mind. We'll get back to him in a bit. Chris?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you wanted to say something. So, meanwhile, the football pool pays off big time for Elisha. 130 Canadian dollars.
All right. Loonies, I believe they call them.
Well, no, the loonies are the individual coins that are,
Oh, really?
yeah.
I thought it was just a slang for a Canadian dollar.
Oh, no, it refers to the dollar coin that has a loon on it. The bird?
Oh. No, I didn't know that.
Oh, okay.
That's interesting. Or is it? I don't know.
Well, she wins all this money and her ambitions grow. Let's take a look.
Giants or Dolphins, Terry?
Giants.
Giants.
Or dolphins. Who cares?
You care. She and Cheryl were practically cheering at the TV yesterday.
She's in a pool.
A football pool? Why didn't you tell me? You made up some story about asses, no less.
Because it's embarrassing.
Who'd you pick?
Giants, Philly, and Seattle.
Well, you're bold. She's not an idiot. How much?
$5.
Well, $5 is all right. It's entertainment. If there weren't gamblers in this family, there wouldn't be any food on the table.
You run a hedge fund, honey. You're not
See,
that master.
now he's making a comment like that. That's why it led me to believe that whole hedge fund thing wasn't real.
Well, no, but then the wife says, you run a hedge fund, relax. You're not exactly Legs Diamond or whatever she says after this. We'll hear it in a bit. But
It doesn't make sense. If you run a hedge fund,
but he refers to that as gambling because you're betting on stocks.
that's not how you should be running a hedge fund, in my opinion. But okay, all right.
It's a form of gambling.
No, it shouldn't be. It really shouldn't be. But all right.
All right, well, let's
Maybe in Bernie Madoff world it is, but no, he was running actually a pyramid scheme.
Yeah, that was
No, a Ponzi scheme.
Ponzi.
Sorry.
Well,
Yeah, yeah.
they're very similar. There are similarities
not really,
between the
yeah.
two.
Listen, Cheryl and I are putting it all towards Europe. But it's Matt Berman's pool. He's the one really raking it in. I can make a ton more if I had my own pool.
No, Caitlin. This Mac Birdbrain, or whatever his name is, can lose that money just as easily as he wins it. And that's the risk.
Okay, but seriously, Mom, I mean...
Caitlin, I said no. So please don't turn to your mother. Now, this is exactly what I have been talking about.
I was going to say no,
Stop
too.
downgrading me.
I don't want her in any pool. Gambling is cheesy, Caitlin. It doesn't suit you.
It's not cheesy. And if you're going to play, you set yourself a $5 limit, you don't chase your losses, and you do your research.
Oh, God, don't say that. She loves research.
$5. Why even bother? I guess gambling addicts like the thrill of it more.
Right.
than,
It's more of the
than
chase.
Yeah. Yeah, I still am involved in sports gambling, but for me, I derive zero pleasure from this other than a purely financial motive
Right.
of increasing my bank balance, which, whatever.
Now, Chris, in the U.S., this film was called, it was retitled My Daughter's Secret Life. Apart from the amount she actually won, what secrets does this girl have exactly?
Yeah, it's pretty all out there.
Yeah. Hey, Dad, I'm going to start a gambling ring for children. Don't do that. But I want to. Okay, well, just do your due diligence. All right, I'll let you know how I make out.
Yeah.
That's no secrets at all.
And as we'll see, not so lucky with it.
Well, before we see that, let's see the research montage.
Oh, man, I fell asleep. This put me to sleep. Why was this in here? I literally fell asleep. That's how boring this is. There's no dialogue. There's barely any music. I mean, that's like what? Hitting one key on a Casio? This is watching someone do homework, is what we're doing.
Well, that's what she's doing. But I think it shows her dedication.
Spice it up a little bit, man.
And you do know what her what realization her painstaking research led to, right?
No. What?
It's not called a quarterbacker.
I don't know what that means. Is that what they call it in Canadian football?
You never heard a girl say that?
Oh,
the quarterbacker got knocked over.
Oh, no.
And by the way,
I was married to an athlete, so she knew things. Yeah.
when they showed her computer in that clip, I realized that the web design was pretty basic, and that monitor was pretty thick.
It was 2001.
Yeah, but see, Chris, you're a smart guy. But sorry, folks, that's just the way things were then. And I have to say this. I don't think I should have to, but I know that I do. And I know this isn't you. It's not you. But believe me, there are people who don't understand that as a movie ages, the technology within it isn't updated to fit the current era.
Uh-oh.
If you don't believe me, I have anecdotal evidence to back this up.
From the YouTube comments?
Oh, not from the YouTube comments,
Oh.
just from life. I took Spanish in high school.
Oh, okay.
And one day in class, we were watching the movie Footloose, dubbed in that language. Now, at that point, Footloose the movie had been around for about a decade. Chris, you have a weird face.
I get the idea that watching a movie dubbed into Spanish could help you learn the language. I question the educational choice of Footloose. They couldn't
on what grounds?
You couldn't find something that's also entertaining, but maybe you would learn something from?
It might have been the fact that we probably had a familiarity with that film, so we would know what was supposed to be said. And when we hear the characters speak those words, we would know that those are the words that mean the corresponding words.
What school did you go to where Footloose was your common denominator movie?
All right. Well, anyway, so we're watching Footloose.
Okay.
Bunch of Spanish students. We're watching this film dubbed into Spanish. And you've seen Footloose, right?
I have.
Yeah. Now, you know the scene where Kevin Bacon and his rival, they're competing they're playing
Tractor Chicken.
Yes.
It's my favorite scene, Tractor Chicken.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you also know that when the competition begins, someone presses play on a boombox.
Sure.
And do you know what song we hear at that moment?
No.
Holding Out for a Hero by
Yes.
Bonnie Tyler.
Yes. Great song. Great scene.
Okay. Well, I'm in class watching this movie with my alleged peers, age-wise and intellectual-wise. We're in the same level, the same, and Holding Out for a Hero starts to play, as we all expect it to, because that's part of the movie.
Right.
And a gal said, hello, old song.
Wow. See, no, I thought she would question why they were still using a boombox. I thought that's where you were going.
Oh, no.
That's not as bad because it is an old song at that point. It's what, 10 years later
But
or
what do
something?
you expect to be in an older movie?
Yeah, but she's just commenting that, I don't know.
It's like she expected Ace of Base to come out of the.
That would have been pretty sweet too, frankly.
All right. So that digression made necessary by some carrot. I'm sure is up to something pretty groovy these days, Chris. Yeah. So Elisha.
Maybe I'll be getting an email from her later. Well, unless she ballooned up, then you will.
Well, Elisha, she starts her schoolyard football pool, and it's an instant success, which leads to a lot of open-air money exchanging and zero faculty suspicion.
Now, have you seen The Sopranos?
I haven't.
This is just a complete aside, but a lot of their income seems to come from running these types of football pools. You know, now it's all run by casinos and the government, and it's all legal, but it seemed incredibly complicated. They're not working with a computer or anything. It's all in their head. They're instantly adjusting things based on, I got this much action on this side of the contest and this much on the other side. And it seems like a very difficult thing to do. I'm just pointing that out. I don't know why, but
it is odd that nobody sees all this going on right under their noses.
Right.
I feel like this is the kind of school where you could just send Ken Jennings in to take your exam for you.
Yeah.
And that would have helped me out a lot because I had to take a remedial course in potent potables.
Ooh. By the way, isn't that what Trump did? Didn't he hire somebody to take his SATs? Or am I being victimized by the liberal media? I don't know.
That may be the case, Chris. Who even knows anymore?
Yeah.
And sorry, folks. We've been talking a while. Let's check in and see how Elisha is doing now with her enterprise.
Don't spend it all in one place. Jeff, even you win today? 60, 80, 100. Just take it. Go. What happened? Spreads were all wrong. How? I don't know how. The moon was in the wrong alignment.
Well, how much did we lose?
We're fine, okay?
See, now, Steve, now the comment I made makes a little more sense because, right, you have your initial spread, right? But if you're getting all the action on one end, you can't just keep going with that because if that doesn't work out, if it goes the other way, you don't have enough money to pay it. So, you got to constantly be...
There's a way to readjust on the fly?
Yeah, you got to change the odds to affect, this much action on here. That's what casinos do. You got to be doing the same thing. That's what I'm saying. In The Sopranos, you see these guys doing this, and you're like, man, that looks really complicated. She's not doing that, apparently. So, I think that's why she ran into trouble here.
All right.
She's left. Okay, now, see, what's that for?
Look. We can't cover everyone, all right? So instead of freaking out all the time, why don't you back me up for once? Hey, the big winners.
That's right. Sweet 3-team parlay. It's like 6 to 1.
I think it's like, what, $900?
I think it was.
By the way, that's all right. All right, stop it, please. I think, does he look like Dane Cook? I don't know. Maybe that's who I'm thinking of.
Oh, there's kind of a Dane Cook thing going on over there.
That could be it. But also, 6 to 1 on a three-leg parlay. You're getting robbed, dude.
Yeah,
a 3-leg parlay should be at least 20 to 1. That's crazy. Well,
I'm glad you know these things because I don't. It's like
apparently the person who wrote
Footloose in English to me.
Apparently, the person who wrote the script didn't either, because that would never happen.
Feeling the heat yet, Caitlin?
From you? You want heat, Tim? Let's go double or nothing.
She doesn't have it.
Spurs over Dallas tonight.
B-ball now. And you're betting against Dallas.
You want the payout? Fine.
I'll take your double or nothing. You better be serious.
I'm all serious.
What are you, her lawyer?
No, this guy's an idiot. You don't go double or nothing. What is that? That you know what that means? I don't have the money. That's why she's asking you to go double or nothing. Get the money from her and then rebet it if you want. You don't go double or nothing. What the idiot?
So you're saying this is wildly inaccurate?
I would believe that a high school kid would be that stupid. So it's not unbelievable. I'm just pointing out he's a dumbass. That's all.
Well, Dallas wins, and that puts Elisha even further deeper into debt to her punters.
Yeah, and also deeply upset that dude from the water park. He was very upset about that. Dallas winning.
So naturally, Elisha takes this opportunity to point out to them that not only are they all children, this is also illegal, and she's not obligated to pay them loony one.
Well, yeah, that's bad business, though, I would think.
Yeah, and of course that's not what happens. She's a gal of her word, a person of honor, with a capital U. So instead, she joins an online casino using her mother's credit card.
Right.
And tries to win what she owes by playing digital roulette. She loses big.
I thought she got her own credit card, but yeah, I guess it was her mother's. I don't know.
Well, at some point it comes up that there's a big credit card bill.
Yeah, but I thought it was her own.
All right.
Yeah. She does also steal from her mother at one point. So
$50 from her purse and a blank check.
Yeah, it's entirely possible.
Now, remember Ron, that guy in the car from earlier? Jerry Hall's brother?
The dude with sunglasses.
Yeah.
Who was apparently hot.
Well, Elisha is playing poker at his house. She excuses herself to take a call from her mother.
Well, I'm sorry. Look, I completely forgot. Yeah, Cheryl and I are studying. I don't know, like 7? Okay, I promise. Okay, bye.
Hi.
Hi.
Your mother?
Uh,
I'm afraid of Ron's. Got a card game in there? You don't have to answer that.
Blair, what are you doing here?
Well, you didn't come by.
Yeah, got caught up here, sorry.
Yeah, so now this Blair chap is part of our lives.
Yeah.
He and Ron have an association that at this point is very vague.
Yeah. We'll find out later that he's a scumbag, and we'll just leave it at that for now.
Right.
I like the casting choice where they didn't cast a guy that really looked like a scumbag. He looks like he could be, just like a guy with a boring job or something. You know?
Yeah.
So I like that they went a little bit different there and didn't cast him as, some guy who looks like what you would expect.
I agree. It provides somewhat of a twist.
Yeah.
As we proceed. So, yeah. There's a poker game going on inside, and Alicia's winning big.
Yeah. She's shaking down Ron's friends.
Yeah. And she makes back enough to pay all of her imagined debts.
Right.
But she lends Ron half so he can pay a debt of his own.
Well, that's a really stupid decision.
And at school, she's pulled into the boys' washroom and insulted by some of the students she owes money to.
Yeah.
They take all she has, so roughly $1,000. Chris?
Well, was she lost when they doubled down? She lost that. They won their double down.
Yeah, Dallas won.
So she owed them like $2,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they demand the rest. They take $1,000 from her. They demand the rest ASAP. So desperate, Elisha visits Ron, sunglass guy,
right,
to collect what he owes her, the other half that she won in the poker game. But he's unable to repay her. So Ron suggests they visit Blair.
Hi, guys.
Hey, Blair.
Hi, Caitlin.
Now, can we stop it here?
Judy?
You'll notice that garage isn't painted, which you think, okay, maybe people don't paint their garages because why would you? His whole house looks like that.
And it's never explained.
Yeah.
Elisha goes upstairs. She sees furniture still covered in plastic, and not in the Italian way. In the it's never been sat on
Never
because
been
it's
used.
It's still in the not plastic, but the covering that it comes in.
Yeah, I'm not sure what they were trying to say with that.
Yeah, it's never explained.
Right.
It looks like the house looks like a work in progress, but it's not. They live there and they live comfortably.
Yeah.
Now, Ron does say they're minimalists.
He does, yeah.
But that's still not a suitable explanation for what we see when the house is explored.
Yeah, I mean, even if you're a minimalist, that you don't normally buy a new. The house builders usually paint the walls, right? Am I wrong about that? I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I know people who bought new homes. They're not usually, well, we got to paint before we move in. That's not I don't know. There's something else going on in the scene that I want to comment on after we let this roll here.
Okay, let's see this.
Caitlin, Judy.
Hi.
Hi, sweetheart.
Caitlin, come.
I'll go put another pot on. Hey, Ron.
You notice
Know
how this
Caitlin,
is?
the lucky girl? She cleaned.
This is done with a handheld cam. I just point that out so people can notice as they watch. So
Okay.
let's go.
Ronnie's buds out at poker the other night.
Really? Nice one.
Oh, that was it.
Yeah.
Well, she ends up using the bathroom and walking through their house. And as you said, she sees all this stuff like it's not painted, the furniture is still wrapped. And she's also freaked out because she's there to borrow money from this guy.
Blair, yeah.
And I'm assuming the reason they went with a handheld cam here was so that the shakiness would be to punctuate her emotional state, right? And this was the thing, I think it was common at the time. It was more common at the time to use handheld cameras, like in the 2000s or something. But I think that came about when people were doing like a Cloverfield type of movie where it was supposed to be, the camera was part of the movie. In this movie, the camera, there's not supposed to be a camera there, right? You're not supposed to know there's a camera.
Yeah, you're saying suddenly it becomes a documentary.
Yeah, I think they were doing it to punctuate her emotional state, but it just ends up being you're focused on you're conscious of the fact that there's a camera, which shouldn't be. That shouldn't be the case. So I think it was a poor choice. I just complimented their casting choice, and now I'm pointing out something I think they did wrong.
But given what we're going to find out later, is it possible that that's kind of a pretext about handheld cameras? We're not going to give anything away right now.
I see what you're saying. Maybe some foreshadowing. Okay, all right.
I don't know. So Blair's wife gave Ron a nice greeting there. I don't know if you noticed that, the way she kissed him.
I did not pick up on this.
It was on the cheek, but geez, I wonder what that's all about.
A little too familiar? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and Elisha also reacted. Her facials went, ooh, what's going on over here?
Okay.
It's a little weird.
All right.
So Elisha borrows $3,000 from Blair, Canadian, with a promise to repay him the following Friday. She now has the money to pay her debts. But that night, Ron takes her to an underground casino.
Yeah.
And Elisha loses all of Blair's money on blackjack.
Now, are we going to see that scene?
We're not. What would you like to say about it?
All right. Well, I want to point out that last week we also watched a movie with a casino. By the way, people wonder what I'm doing. These cans require an opener because they're damaged.
That's why they were 49 cents.
Yeah, nice. But last week we also watched a movie that took place at a casino. That was supposed to be a real Atlantic City casino, and it clearly was just the living room of someone's house. Here, they're going to an underground casino, which should look like someone's house, but instead looks like a real casino. I don't get it. It should have been the other way around, but just pointing that out. What's wrong?
Oh, nothing. I'm just trying to figure out where we are. So now Elisha, she loses all that money on blackjack at the underground casino. She can't pay anyone back. She can't pay her punters or Blair.
Right. And yeah, now she owes twice as much.
Deeper hole.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So with Elisha's family out of the house for the night, she had Ron stage a robbery of the family home.
Yeah.
Let's see the aftermath. Check out Terry, breakout star.
Just makes me feel ill.
Our computers got took.
Good old Terry.
Oh, they took your English book too, apparently.
So Ron's supposed to sell the takings and split the proceeds with Elisha. Instead, he goes incommunicado.
Shouldn't they just have robbed someone else's house? I don't know. I mean, I'm not a burglar, but robbing your own house. Clearly, I'm not a good burglar. I stole a bike and made no money. So who am I to give advice?
So Ron disappears, and Elisha tracks him down. Actually, she tracks him down at his house. She knocks on the door, but she's surprised to find Blair inside.
Give me my money. Give me my money, Ron. You said you were gonna split it with me, okay? You can't do this to me. That was my house and my stuff. Give me my money.
I don't have it. Caitlin, I don't need to know the details here. All I need to know... You listening? Caitlin? All I need to know is that you're going to be at my house tomorrow after school, all right? Regardless.
Now, can I, at the risk of being too inside, can I just point out that I believe Blair is the Dennis Horan of the Canadian underworld?
He does look like an old friend of ours. This actor does bear a striking resemblance to someone we've known a long time. And at first it was kind of off-putting, to be honest. So why is he doing this? Okay. So with only a day to go before her debt to Blair comes due, Elisha borrows $26.45 Canadian from Terry. His money did not get took in the robbery, Chris.
Yes, by Terry, you mean her 8-year-old little brother. She took his entire life savings to go gamble. But $26, she plans on making, what does she owe now, $6,000? Yeah, that's a solid plan.
So she has back...
Solid plan. Turn $26 into $6,000. Yeah.
But she heads back to the underground casino and rakes in the dough.
Okay.
And gives it to her mother to pay off the credit card Elisha used to sign up for the online casino.
Yeah.
So she still owes everybody else. The next afternoon, she heads over to Blair's without the money to repay him. Elisha is greeted by Blair's wife, who leads her down to the basement where they discuss cinema.
Is it ever said that she's his wife?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
You like movies? Don't you, Caitlin?
Notice how... No, look.
I guess, yeah.
Not only is it not painted,
So do we.
there's drywall missing.
A lot of people have unfinished basements.
Okay.
He hasn't mentioned them, no.
I think we could have some fun. What do you think?
They want to make a movie with her.
I don't know.
Well, we'd really like it.
Come on. Sit over here.
I don't know if I can... I haven't done this.
Try.
Yeah, just try. Okay? It's no big deal.
I guess I could, maybe. What will I have to do?
Oh, almost nothing. Just have fun. Blair isn't really even that interested. Mostly me. You have girlfriends?
Now, Steve, I'm sorry to interrupt, but before you think that this is the tale of an innocent high school girl who got caught up in the world of gambling and then this is what it leads to, we also saw her earlier in the movie just casually smoke meth. So she's kind of thrown herself whole hog into
right. Well, it was that lottery ticket.
Yeah.
But that was in order to stay awake to gamble all night long.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. I mean, if it's medicinal meth, then all right.
Now, yeah. So Blair's wife says this is mostly for her. Blair's not really that interested.
Yeah, I think he's pretty interested.
Well, maybe in this case, but it makes me wonder what kind of scam Ron has going.
Yeah.
Hey, Blair, can I borrow $1 million? Okay. But if you don't pay me back by Friday, my wife's going to have to.
Yeah.
Is
Why would anyone ever pay Blair back if these are the consequences?
I don't think Blair thought this through. Elisha is probably the one goal he scored in his entire career. So, Ron actually does help rescue Elisha, but only after the fact. He hips her mother to the situation, and the mother heads over to Blair's to collect her daughter. And
we're going to see that, right?
We're not, but she bludgeons him.
Well, I think we need to see that.
Okay, I don't know where that is, Chris.
It's at the very end. It's the last thing before the credits.
No.
Well, it's the second to last thing.
There are a few things. No, we're way beyond.
All right, then. Never mind. What she does is she takes the. You remember the club that people used to put on their steering wheel?
It was an anti-theft device.
Yeah. She takes that off her steering wheel, or no, she drove there, so it couldn't. Whatever. She takes that and smashes Blair over the head several times with it, which could kill a man.
Yeah, the club was it was called the club for a reason.
Yeah.
But it was also odd. They established it very early in the film that the mother had the club in her vehicle.
Right.
Because it was odd to see her do that, to see anybody do that in any kind of production. It was not something you would see on television.
Right.
Except in an ad for the club. But to see somebody actually put one of those in place, it was odd enough to make me think, oh, that might be something that comes in handy later on.
Yeah.
I never expected this, of course. So, yeah, she bludgeons the guy and then goes home and does what anybody could have done at any time. They called the police.
Yeah.
So Blair and his wife are arrested. So Elisha goes into rehab and then starts gambling again. Anything else you want to say, Chris?
Yeah. Jim, can we pull up the comments that I had picked out? These are YouTube comments from people who have watched the movie.
Hello, old computer.
I can't read them. Can we put them full screen?
Well, Jim, can you read them? Because there's no way I'm seeing this.
It doesn't matter. All right,
I'll read it. I can read it for you if you want.
Okay, please.
Well, he's not on mic.
Yes, I am.
He is on mic now.
I'm on mic. Mums are heroes. Parents' love is unconditional. She was a brave woman. The mother gave him a good beating, that dirty old man.
Now, I understand how some people would have this take on this movie because they're simpletons. Here's my take on this movie. What happened? What's the character's name? Elisha Cuthbert. What's her character's name?
I never say the character's name because you get confused if I don't call them by their.
Anyway, Caitlin, yes. She went to Blair, Dennis Horan. She went to Blair to borrow money. He lent her that money. Okay. When she couldn't pay him back, he offered an alternative solution, which was sleep with me and my wife. I'm assuming both of them were involved in this.
Yeah, because he is dressing when the mother shows up.
Right.
So there was a cause for him to be undressed.
And when the mother shows up, he does make a point of saying that she is of age. So they establish she's 17. In some places, that's legal. In some places, it's not. But we're led to assume that that it's legal where they are. Okay. They in no way physically try to stop her from leaving. She could have left at any time and just paid him back the money that she owed to him. Okay. So she decided not to do that because she wanted her debt forgiven. In my mind, that's consensual sex. So what crime did Blair commit? None that I can think of. Now, perhaps there's some minor law involving the camera that he used. I don't know. Who did commit a crime here? How about the mom committing assault when she viciously beat Blair with a club? How about the fact that the cops show up and arrest Blair? That makes me think that the mom and the family concocted a story to tell the police that Caitlin was raped, which she was not.
Deadly justice.
Deadly justice. Sorry, not raped. So who's the bad guy here, and who is the hero of this story? In my mind, Blair is being victimized by this woman, this teenage girl, and her mother. And I'm standing by that, and I don't care who agrees with me. Has a teenage vixen ensnared you into her gambling debt-fueled web of depravity?
Have you been assaulted by an overprotective parent of an out-of-control teen?
Have you and your paramour been falsely accused of deadly justice?
Don't take the law into your own hands. Leave that club in the car where it belongs. Contact us, the law office of Manganese and Albano.
I mean, that mom also served alcohol to minors at some point. That was never even brought up.
We didn't even see that. I think they're hiding evidence.
Who's the real victim here?
Google us. Do not yell.
Well, apparently someone agrees with me.
Well, in that case, shall we rate this motion picture?
Sure. Why don't you go first?
Okay, I'm going with 2.5 Meredith Baxters. I realize this is a movie about addiction. It's supposed to take us inside the mind of a compulsive gambler. But it wasn't long before I stopped caring if she caught up to the money she owed. It's hard to want to root for someone who makes bad decision after bad decision. At some point, you just say, well, enough. I'm done. I'm out. But it was well acted.
It was.
And it could have gone more after school specially than it did.
That's a point. I would say it also could have gone in the other direction more than it did. If you told me that, well, you did tell me that we're going to watch a movie about a teenage girl who rang up so much gambling debt she had to resort to prostitution, I would have said, well, this is right up my alley. But I found it to be kind of boring at parts. So I don't know. I'm only going to give it to Meredith Baxters.
There was a lot of gambling.
Yeah, and I fell asleep in the one scene. I mean, that shouldn't happen.
Well, in that case, anything you'd like to talk about we didn't talk about?
I think I've said enough.
All right. Well, in that case, I think we did it. Thanks so much, Chris Morgani. I'm Steve Rees. Oscar Wewe.
Oscar Wawa.
Ollie Magano.
Tigers.
Eat 'em raw. We did it.